To build a clan boss team, you need champions with the proper roles on your team. It is really important to understand what your champion does and their role. In clan boss, you can bring 5 champions with you. Each of the 5 champions need to be able to do at least one of the 5 roles that I will be going over in this video. Hi YouTube, this is Yasso here. If you have any questions or comments for me, then please let me know in the comments section below. The first role is that you need one of your champions to cover the decreased attack debuff. This is the most important debuff to have on the clan boss. This is so important that you want your team to be able to keep the decreased attack debuff on the clan boss 100% of the time. This is because the clan boss will do less damage with the decreased attack debuff on. This also means that your team will survive longer. And the longer you survive, the more damage your team puts out. If the decreased attack debuff ever falls off in the later rounds, then that pretty much means that that's the end of your battle. If you need to have 2 champions on your roster with this ability, then have the 2 champions to do this role. That's how important this debuff is. What you can do is check out this website by Ayumi, and I'll provide the link in the description below. And when you go onto the website, on the right side, you can see Raid Shadow Legends skills. What you can do is you can scroll up and down on here and check out the skills, and you can click on one of the skills, and then it will bring you to a page and give you a list of champions that has that skill set. Some champions that I recommend that you use for the decreased attack debuff role are Alton, Sepulchre Sentinel, Jerag, Tyrell, and Coffin Smasher. All of these champions can put up decreased attack on their A1, which allows you to not have to wait for the cooldowns to reset to put up the decreased attack debuff. However, keep this in mind, this is not a tier list, and there are more champions that can put up the decreased attack debuff than the 5 that I mentioned. Second, you need damage. This can be from poison, HP burn, or pure damage. Poison is the preferred choice because you can stack poison debuff. During early, mid, and sometimes even late game, poison is the preferred choice. This is because you can stack poison debuffs. Every 2.5% poison will do 25k of damage per stack, and every 5% poison will do 50k of damage per stack. When going against the clan boss, you want to be putting up the 5% poison debuff on the clan boss. This will maximize your poison damage. For HP burn, you can only put up 1 at a time. For legendaries and epics, HP burn will do 75k of damage, and for rare champions, it will only do 50k damage. For pure damage, this is really endgame. Some teams will bring a high damaging unit that hits really hard. However, this role does require some insane level of gears for the champions to be able to put out damage that can match poisons in HP burn champions. Third, you want to have a champion with defensive abilities that allows your team to survive for a longer period of time. That can be champions with increased defense, ally protection, veil, or a combination of 2 of the buffs, or even all 3. These buffs will help your team a lot in mitigating the clan boss's damage. The 2 more important ones are increased defense and ally protection. Increased defense will allow your team to take less damage from the clan boss, and ally protection will allow your tank to absorb damage done to your team. However, teams with veil buffs are starting to rise and put out a lot of damage too. Veil buff will reduce incoming damage from AoE skills by 7.5%, and Perfect Veil will reduce that incoming damage from AoE by 15%. The reason why the teams that has a champion to cover this third role is putting out more damage is because their team is surviving for a lot longer. Because this third role brings a lot of survivability and damage mitigation to the team, and the longer you survive, the more damage you put out. And for the fourth one, you want to have a champion that can put up decreased defense or weaken, or both. The decreased defense debuff will allow your damage to be increased because the defense of the clan boss is decreased. And weaken will enhance your damage depending on if you place the 15% weaken debuff or the 25% weaken debuff. Weaken debuff will enhance your damage by either 15% or 25% depending on which one you have up. However, this does not increase poison and HP burn damage. Instead, when you have Giant Slayer or War Master, then when the mastery procs, it will do a lot more damage with the decreased defense and or weaken up. You want a champion with this role on your team because you want to be able to put up as much damage as possible for each of your keys. The two debuffs will enhance your damage output. And the last role that I recommend is to really look at your champion roster and decide on what type of team do you want to run. If you have a champion with AoE or counter attack buff, then you want to run a counter attack team. Therefore, your final role should be a champion with the AoE counter attack buff. Counter attack buff allows your team to counter attack, which puts up more damage onto the clan boss. When the clan boss does its AoE attack, then your team counters, and basically it's a free turn except that your team is using their A1 and the ability cooldowns does not get refreshed. Right now there are only 3 champions in Raid Shadow Legends that has the AoE counter attack buff, and that is Valkyrie, Martyr, and Skullcrusher. But if you don't have a AoE counter attack buff, then you want to run a speed team. Then now, instead of the counter attack buff, you want to have a champion that can fill your team's turn meter, whether that's turn meter boosting, or increased speed, or both. What a speed team focus on is to basically allow your team to take as many turns as possible. For this role, you might want to have champions like Arbiter, Sephi, Golden Reaper, Haikatun, or Apothecary. Again, I'm only naming a few of these champions. These are not all the champions that can play this role. There are multiple champions out there that can increase your team's turn meter or give them the increased speed buff. Alright, so again, the 5 roles are decrease attack, damager, whether that's poison, HP burn, or pure damage, buffs that can help your team survive, that's increased defense, ally protection, or veil, damage enhancer, and that's with the decreased defense and weaken debuff, and either counter attack or turn meter manipulation. There are more complex teams that uses other buffs like unkillable and block damage, and those teams do require more complex settings, and I won't be covering that today. Alright, well this is all I have for today, and if you like my video, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions or comments for me, then please let me know in the comment section below. Thank you very much.